Ah, the question. Yeah, that's a really hard question for me to answer. Because I love both. And for years I would have told you cook. But since my daughter was born, I've just been obsessed with baking. Like, that's what I want to do. So maybe for me, it's like it's changed with the period of my life and the things that I'm kind of obsessed with. I have found that it's fun to cook with a kid, but it's a blast to bake with a kid. So she helps me stir, and she's figured out about sugar and licking the bowl and, you know, making the pancakes and the shapes. And there's something tactile about dough. You know, there's something lifelike and tactile and childlike about dough. And I guess the people at Play-Doh knew what they were doing. So that, yeah, right now I'm a baker. Yes.
So how have you found that having a child has changed who you are as a writer and what you're writing about, or how you're writing?
Yeah, it in some ways it hasn't changed me as much as I thought I would. I was very afraid that I would stop writing, and so when Birds of Paradise came out, that was a big sigh of relief for me. It felt like, okay, I'm still going. I'm still going. But in other ways, oh, my writing process is so very different now. You know, I used to be able to do the thing of sitting down for hours at a time and just blazing through something and finishing a book if I had to in a matter of weeks. And now it's all measured. It's all as craftily, you know, plotted out as storming the Bastille. You know, it's like every ounce, every minute is carefully strategized, and I have to confer with my husband, and there's a babysitter who gets involved. It's triangulated, and, you know, there are graphs and pie charts, and but, you know, it's getting easier, and now school is in the picture, and that's very exciting for everyone. So over the years, I feel it. My regular routine is returning to me. But yeah, this was probably the hardest book I've ever written in my life. First because of that writing schedule, but also because of the scariness. Yeah. Anything else? Yes.
So what next?
Next, I'm actually writing a follow-up to The Language of Baklava. I decided that I wanted to write about raising a good eater, and I wanted to write about writing, because another part of this question for me is that I realized that when I was in graduate school, when I was first starting out, a number of my mentors told me that I could either be a writer or I could be a parent, but I couldn't do both. And I don't think they were saying that to the guys. And now this is back in the, we're going back to the Stone Ages here. This is back in the 80s when this was going on. So hopefully things are better. But, you know, I was just starting out. I really didn't know any better, and so I thought they're right. I guess I can't have kids. I'm going to have to choose one. I'm going to be a writer. And, you know, so, you know, I was like 20 years old, and I decided that I wouldn't ever have kids. And then for years, you know, years go by, and I work on writing, and I bring these books out, and I start questioning it. I hit 40, and I'm like, wait a second, there are writers who are women who have kids. Somebody played a trick on me. And I had to really look at that question about what it means to be a writer and what it means to be a parent. So the new book is, I think it's going to be called Grace at the Table, because my daughter's named Grace. And I'm looking at the three Graces. My grandmother Grace, who she's named for, who was the first feminist in my life and told me to be a writer, and the grace of writing, and then my daughter Grace. And I'm telling people it's a feminist manifesto with recipes. So, thank you all so much for coming, and I'll be happy to sign books. Thank you.